Alright, rolling it. What is going on, YouTube? We are back, and this video is gonna be basically magic on a YouTube video, because I'm gonna tell you guys how to get over any fear you guys have, how to get over not having motivation, how to get over basically anything and do anything that you ever wanted to do. I'm gonna tell you guys one way, the only way literally, of how you can think about it and go about it in order to do it. But first, I was gonna make a video today, like an agency update, client testimonial, kind of where we're at in the agency, some wins. That's gonna be next Sunday, so stay tuned. Next Sunday at 6 p.m., I'll be launching a video going over some client wins we got finally. I mean, we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and we got some wins, so I'm gonna share that with you guys. It can be a good video, some big things coming, so stay tuned next Sunday at 6 p.m. But today's video, I'm gonna talk about how you actually get there, how to get to a point to where you're winning, when you're feeling good. And even if you're not, let's say a lot of people aren't, like I still am, like, not winning, not making the money I want to make, not, looking the way I want to look, not being the man I want to be, whatever it may be. It's never enough, right? Especially for most people. Like, you get to a certain level, it's like, okay, I want this, I want that, I want to keep pushing, I want to keep pushing. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you accept that, like, okay, I'm good where I'm at, but I want more. But like I said, the whole point of this video is to give you guys kind of the way I look at life and how my approach to it, to understand like what I want and how I can get over any obstacle that gets in my way as far as like getting there. And I think the first thing that stops most people is like fear. They're scared of taking risk, or they're scared of what would happen, or they're scared of how other people look at them, or they're scared of how they look at themselves, or anything. I mean, insert X. Literally, that people can be scared of anything nowadays, and that's why they won't take action. And I think what you just have to sit down and ask yourself is, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you're not gonna die. I mean, obviously there's some stuff that you're gonna do where you're gonna die. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. But other things like starting a business or moving or going up to somebody and talking to them, or like networking or whatever it may be, it's like, well, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, you're not gonna die, right? Literally, the worst thing that happens is you flop, you fall on your face, you make an idiot of yourself, it doesn't work, you lose money, you go in debt, and you learn. Like, that's still a win. Like, it's still a win. You didn't die and you learned. Yeah, maybe you lost some money, maybe you owe some credit cards, maybe you look like an idiot, maybe everybody's telling you I told you so, maybe you feel like shit, but you still learned, and you take that with you and you win. Like, if your whole life was just like wins after wins after wins after wins after wins after wins, I guarantee you wouldn't learn shit, and you wouldn't even feel good about it. Like, the whole reason winning feels so fucking good is because you lost so many fucking times. Like, if you tried something and you won the first time, like, you wouldn't care. Like, oh, it's cool. But it feels so good because like 10 years you fucking lost. Like, finally. You know what I mean? You can't have light without dark. You can't have dark without light. Like, this yin and yang, good versus evil. Like, you always need that good and bad, that black and white balance in life. The Asians or the continents, they had it right. They had it right. Yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. Like, the win wouldn't feel as good if it didn't come with 10 years of fucking losing. So that's what I think a lot of people are scared of. Like, they're scared of losing, they're scared of looking like an idiot, and you can't even enjoy looking like a G or looking like a king until you look like an idiot. Like, nobody just comes out the womb looking like they're good, looking like they're cool, making the money, this and that. No, like, you can't. The price of one is the price of the other. So you have to go through all the shit in order for you to actually come out the other end. And then people are like, oh, I want to be like that, but they don't want to go through all this shit. All right, they don't want to pay the price and the reps. Same with like working out. Like, you can't look good until you look like shit when you're doing reps, and then you look fat or you look skinny. You don't know what you're doing working out. You're making a fool of yourself. People are like, oh my gosh, you've been working out. Like, oh, you'll quit in 2 weeks. All right, and then 4 years later, it's like, oh my gosh, like, what do you do? Like, can I work out with you? This and that. You're so big. This, whatever. You're so lean. So I think people try to skip to the good part right away, where it's like, no, the only reason it's the good part, and the only reason there's not a lot of people there, the only reason it has value and there's not a lot of people there and they don't have it, and they're not, it's because they're not willing to pay the price. They're not willing to sacrifice whatever the sacrifice is. And part of that sacrifice is taking a risk. So yeah, that risk is, part of the sacrifice. Now, for some of you have kids, family, like, that's real risk. Like, there's always going to be real risk. But a lot of the risk is just made up in the head. Like, especially if you're a young guy and you want to get fit, you want to make money, you want to do this, you travel the world, whatever it may be. Like, a lot of the risk that you think you have, it's like, you don't. It's just in your head. You have the rest of your life to figure stuff out, right? You can always go back to school, you can always start a job, whatever it may be. It's just risk in the head. Like I said, at the end of the day, nothing in life actually matters except for like now. The past Everything that is in your past, like literally 2 minutes ago, up to 20 years ago, it's in the past. And it's not even real because everybody has a different idea of the past. My 2 minutes ago is not my sister's 2 minutes ago, and it's not your 2 minutes ago, and it's not my dog's 2 minutes ago. Everybody has a different 2 minutes ago, just like everybody has a different 20 years ago. So the past, just disregard it. It doesn't matter. The future doesn't exist. Like, it literally does. It's made up in your head. Think of any time that you've thought about the future. It doesn't exist because it's in the future. Okay? The only thing that's real is the present. And let me tell you something. The past and the future only exist because the present does. They're all based off your present. When you think of the past, you're going based off your present. Oh, I remember when. I remember when. I remember when. When you think about the future, it's still tied to your present. Man, I'm here now, but I want to be, or I will be, and in the future, when I want to. So both of them are tied to the present. So the only real thing that actually exists is the present now. What can you do right now? That's another thing that I like. That's something I started looking at it like life through, and it made everything so much easier because it's like the future's bullshit. It doesn't exist, and the past it's a fucking lie. I mean, nothing actually. I mean, it's real. It happened, but what's the point in thinking about the past? Right? Because it's your past. Like nobody else has the same past as you. Okay, so the past doesn't matter. The future doesn't exist. So it's just now. What am I doing right now? Filming a YouTube video. That's all. That's all you can do. And then I'm gonna go on a walk. And then I'm gonna eat dinner. And then just you keep showing up in the present. Sooner or later, your present becomes the future that you thought was real when it was really just the present the whole time. Like just the present always is the present. You never live in the future and you never live in the past. You only live in the present. So that's like the biggest thing I've been learning. I feel like a lot of times especially me, and some of you guys may be the same, but I lived in the future, like when I do this, or I can't wait till I'm making this money. Bro, like what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? Because right now you're just thinking about some shit that doesn't exist that you think is going to be real in 5 years. And even when it is real, it's not going to be the future. It's not going to be the past. It's going to be what? The now. So I think looking at it like that helps, realizing that, life doesn't really have any meaning. Like we like to ascribe meaning to everything in life. Like what does this phone mean? Like phone, the word phone, why can't it mean rainbow? Why can't rainbow mean phone? It's just we try to ascribe meaning to everything in life, and I think a lot of times there's some things can't be explained. My stepdad, he always said that life is, in Spanish, unjust, and it is. I mean, it's super unfair. Why is there kids in Africa starving to death while we're here, chilling, making money from our laptops? Or why is there people, in Saudi Arabia making billions while there's kids in Africa starving? It's just, life is unfair, and you can't sit and try to ascribe meaning to it. It just is, right? You can have two kids raised by the same parents. One of them ends up being a drug addict. One of them doesn't. It just is. There's no, right? Obviously, environment's playing a role, but some things just can't be explained. That's another thing. Like you don't need to try to explain everything and add meaning to everything. Especially some things that you're not sure of. Like there's some things where I'm not sure of, religion, some politics, some things that I'm still trying to figure out myself. And it helps. It's like, you know what? I can't explain it, but it just is. Because a lot of people try to put meaning to everything, or, this happened because of this, or that happened because of him, or, he did all of this. It's like, it might have just happened. What if it just happened? It just happened. It just is. It's just life being life. Molecules, atoms, bumping into molecules and atoms, and just lifing. It's just lifing. And again, life is another meaning, right? It just is. So that's something I've been trying to practice more of, just because it just makes life easier whenever you can just accept that it is what it is, right? Fear is made up in the mind. The future literally doesn't exist. The past doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is right now, the present, and show up day to day and what you want to do. Another thing, find out what you want to do and how you want to do it, where you want to do it, with who you want to do it. For the longest time, like I was in sales, and don't get me wrong, like I enjoyed sales. I think it taught me a lot, but I don't think it was necessarily what I wanted to do for the next 20 years. And I knew that from the beginning, but I didn't actually accept it until I obviously, quit my sales job, because I was doing sales, like I said, for 4 or 5 years. I did it like 3 or 4 years really. But whenever I was like, well, I don't want to do this for the next 20 years. I know that I want to make a lot of money. That I've known for a long time. And I know that in order to make a lot of money, I'm going to have to do one thing for a long time and get really good at it. So what am I doing in sales? I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it the next 20 years. I want to make a lot of money. It literally made 0 sense. So figure out like what it is you actually want to do. It doesn't even have to be a passion. Like I didn't have any passions, but figure out what it is you want to do. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money. I didn't want to work like a dog. I don't want to work 80 hours a week. Like, can I? Yeah, but I don't want to. I want to work like 60, maybe 40 to 60 hours a week. Enjoy some time, travel, have the cars that I want, live where I want, be with the people I want. And that's the life that I want to live. And I'm lucky that I even get to choose that kind of life. Some people don't get to, again, life is unfair. Some people don't even get to choose that life. They're forced to a certain kind of life or a certain type of, pedigree, whatever it may be. So I'm lucky I even get to choose that. So if you're in that position where you can choose what kind of life you want to lead, then make a wise choice and make sure that, by the time you get to the end of your life, you're like happy with your decision and with what you've chosen, with how you went about it. Because I think a lot of people they don't sit down and they don't think, is this actually like what I want to do? Because again, and I'm not saying like happy, you want to be happy. No, I think that's bullshit as well. Everybody, like anything and everything you choose, and everybody and anybody has hard times and good times. They're happy and they're sad. That's just the cost of doing business. That's called life. Like again, it just is. There's gonna have days where you hate it and there's gonna have days where you love it. But what I'm saying is figure out the path that you want to take to get there. That's I think like the thing that I realized, that I feel like it took me too long to realize, but I don't know if it did or didn't, but whatever. I just feel like I ignored it for a long time because I was forcing one path, like sales. Oh, it's sales. I'm working for a company. I'm gonna sell and make 500 grand or $1 million. I was forcing that path, but then I realized like I don't even want to take this path. I'd rather take this path, even if it's longer, even if it's harder, even if I have to work more. But I think I'd enjoy it a little bit more. That's just the path that I want to take to get to that goal. The goal was the same. I still want to make a lot of money, just don't want to do it through sales. I want to do it through an agency, which is basically sales and marketing, but it's also like, I feel like more like a business. It's more one-on-one, and I'm actually getting like real results. Like I'm tied to the results a little bit, which I kind of like. But anyways, I digress. That's what I'm saying. So figure out what it is you want. Have a sit down with yourself, and be realistic. How much money is enough? Honestly, with 500K a year, I can do some damage. 500K a year, I can do some damage. $1 million a year. That's a good number. I mean, obviously it's gonna take a while to get there. Everybody has their own timeline and gets on their own pace, but really identify what you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to do it, with who you want to do it. And everything else is bullshit, because if you're not doing what you want to do, where you want to do it, how you want to do it, with who you want to do it, then what are you doing with your life? Real talk. You sleep 8 hours a day. You train an hour and a half a day, hour a day. You eat 3 hours a day. You sleep, right? You shower, right? So a third of your life is spent working. So if you're not working on something that you like, that you care about, with who you want to do it, how you want to do it, where you want to do it, then what are you doing? Because you're 20, 30 years going to go by, you're going to die. It's like, well, a third of your life, you just did something that you didn't want to do, you didn't like, and you didn't enjoy. It's like, you know what I mean? And like, again, I said, everything has good and bad. But do something that you actually want to do. So that's that. I didn't want to make this video too long. I just want to go on a rant. I wanted to get a YouTube video out, but also provide some value at the same time. And a lot of this stuff is just things, I've heard on the internet. Like I try not to regurgitate, but also like some things that I've thought of, like, why am I doing this? Or does this actually matter? Or why does that have to have a meaning? Maybe it just is, right? Because I know there's been situations where I'm like, I feel super lucky. There's been situations where I feel super unlucky, and situations where I feel super lucky, and I say, why is that? And why do I feel super lucky and that guy is unlucky, or that girl is unlucky, or why am I super unlucky and that guy is super lucky? And you can't explain, it just is. So just show up every day, don't worry about the past, don't worry about the present, don't compare your timeline to somebody else's story. Like your chapter is very different. You could be chapter 3 and they're chapter 70. You could be chapter 70 and they're chapter 3. So just have a sit down with yourself. Again, you can learn from others. You can push yourself using others' metrics, but never sit there and judge yourself like, I should be here or I should do better. Obviously, we all have those voices in our heads, right? But don't let it actually get to you. Just have a sit down. Like, what can I control now? Again, the present. What can I do right now? What can I do right now? And that's the biggest mindset shift that I've had recently. And I'm going to keep, having mindset shifts as I keep growing the business, because it's going to force me to keep changing as a person, as an operator, a business owner, agency owner, whatever it may be. And so I just hope I can, keep up with the business and keep growing it and scaling it, and we'll see. So that's it for today's video. Again, next Sunday, I'm going to show some agency wins with one of my clients. My best client so far, the best one I've had so far. I'm excited to share that with you guys. It's going to be a case study as well. I'm going to put in there with him, and stay tuned next Sunday, 6 p.m. and we're going to keep rocking and rolling. And I'll see you guys in the next video.